हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू सबका गुरुकुल। आज हम हिस्ट्री के फर्स्ट चैप्टर से डिस्कस करेंगे सम इम्पॉर्टेंट फैक्ट्स, एक्स्ट्रा क्वेश्चंस एंड द बैक एक्सरसाइजेस। Before going to our first topic, let's discuss about subcontinent. What is a subcontinent? A subcontinent is a large landmass which is smaller than a continent. It's quite bigger than a lot of countries, and in your book in page number 2 there is a map of South Asian subcontinent, and this map of South Asia shows that the subcontinent contains present countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan and Sri Lanka, and other neighboring countries also, Afghanistan, Iran, China and Myanmar. So we will start from the topic where did people live, and the first interesting fact that we get here is Sulaiman and Kirthar hills in northwest part of our subcontinent were some of the areas where people began growing crops about 8,000 years ago. Number 2, Garo hills to the northeast part of the subcontinent and Vindhyas of central India were areas where agriculture was developed. Now the third point is some of the earliest cities developed in the banks of river Indus and its tributaries about 4,700 years ago. So here is a word, tributaries. What does tributaries mean? Tributaries are small rivers or streams that flow into a larger river or lake. It means that sometimes a river or rivers might flow in such a direction that they end up meeting and flowing into a big river. After that, these rivers become tributaries of the river which they met. A river may have one or many tributaries. River Ganga and its tributary Son can be used as an example here. Next, number 4, this is from the subtopic finding out about the past. Here it is given that while writing manuscripts, palm leaves were neatly cut into pieces which could be tied up together to look like a book. Next, number 5, this one is related to the subtopic of what does dates mean. Letters with dates. Here you can see that BC stands for before Christ. AD stands for two Latin words, Anno Domini, which means in the year of Lord. Sometimes CE is used instead of AD and BCE is used for BC. Now CE means Common Era and BCE means before Common Era. Along with this, there is another term which is used, that is BP, which means before present. Now the next important fact is related with the subtopic finding about the past, where we got to know about inscriptions. So let's look at what is written in this paragraph. We got to know that inscriptions are made in hard surfaces, and these inscriptions belong to our past. They are made many years ago and they contain many scripts and languages. While making these inscriptions, many scripts and languages were used by the writers to write whatever they wanted to convey to the people. Now, what are scripts and languages? So, the first one is script. Script consists of characters or symbols which are used for writing. Basically alphabets, numbers, etc. which were used for writing the inscriptions. And the next one is language. Language means a system of communication through which one person gets to know what the other person is saying, and also the person can let the other person know about his own thoughts and processes by speaking in a certain way. This is known as language, and language can be both written or spoken. In inscriptions, different languages and different scripts were used. For different inscriptions, it was different. For different community, it was different. Now let's move back to our previous topic and let's find out what more can we know about the inscriptions. These inscriptions were made years and years ago, and the languages or the scripts which were used there were also very old. And over the time, these languages and scripts became outdated, and many languages and scripts have already died, or many of them have changed, and now they look nothing like its original form. In that case, when these inscriptions are found and excavated, how does present day archaeologists and historians read about these languages? Let's look at it. So these scholars understand what was inscribed by a process known as decipherment. So what is decipherment? Decipherment is a process of translating, making out the meaning of writings which are mysterious or unclear. Continuing from the first paragraph, now we will move on to the second paragraph, where there is an example of decipherment. One of the most famous stories of decipherment comes from Egypt, a country in North America, where there were kings and queens about 5,000 years ago. So there was a small town on the north coast of Egypt known as Rosetta, and here an inscription was found. But this inscription was written in 3 different languages and script. One of the languages were Greek and others were 2 forms of Egyptians. So the scholars who could read Greek figured out that the names of kings and queens were enclosed in a little frame called a cartouche. They then placed the Greek and the Egyptian signs side by side and identified the sounds for which the Egyptian letters stood. As you can see, a lion stood for L and a bird for A. Once they knew what the letters stood for, they could read other inscriptions as well. Here in this paragraph, you can find few of the examples or few of the inscriptions which were used in this particular case. So please look at the pictures given in the previous paragraph. With that, we are done with the first segment of our today's video. Now let's move on to the next segment, which consists of extra questions. There are 2 important extra questions which we are going to discuss now. So our first question is, why do people travel nowadays? So in the first part of our video, we have already discussed about the travelers who moved from one place to another in the past, and they did so because of many reasons like natural disasters, conquering new lands, due to trade purposes, spreading religious preachings, adventures, etc. And now we are going to discuss about why do people travel nowadays. We will discuss about the present time. To answer these questions, there can be many reasons why people travel nowadays, and to sum it up, I have used 3 reasons for that. The first one is to join for jobs in different cities. The second one is for receiving education. For receiving education, people move from one city to another, or they may move from one country to another. The third one is for traveling or adventure. Now let's move on to the second question. Can you think of advantages of writing on a hard surface, and what could have been the difficulties? First, we are going to discuss about the advantages. Number 1, they cannot be damaged or ruined. Number 2, they cannot be infected by pests, moths, and insects. Along with these, there are lots of advantages, but I have summed it up into 2 points. Now we will discuss about the difficulties or disadvantages of writing on a hard surface. The first disadvantage is it takes lot of time, sometimes week or month, to complete writing on these hard surfaces of stones or metal. Number 2, it is very tiring and laborious for people. We have come to the end of our second segment. Now we will move on to back exercises. I have already attached these answers in the form of PDF in the description box below. Please check it out. Yet we will discuss a little bit from these exercises. So the first question here is match the following. So the answers are, for Narmada Valley, the answer would be hunting and gathering. For Magadha, the answer will be the first big kingdom. For Garo Hills, the answer is early agriculture. For Indus and its tributaries, the answer is the first cities. And for Ganga Valley, the answer is cities about 2500 years ago. Now, question number 2. List one major difference between manuscripts and inscriptions. So the answer is, for manuscripts, manuscripts are handwritten documents on surfaces of palm leaves or barks of birch trees. For inscriptions, inscriptions are writings on hard surfaces such as stone or metal. Now question number 3. Return to Rashida's question. Can you think of some answers to it? So in the beginning of the chapter, there is a girl called Rashida who seems to be studying a newspaper, and there she gets one headline where it was mentioned about something which happened 100 years ago, and she becomes very much curious about it. And she is interested to know about what happened 100 years ago and how do people come to know about all these events. And basing upon her question, we get to know that there are few ways in which we can know about the past, and some of these ways are given in the answer. Number 1, through inscriptions. Number 2, through manuscripts. Number 3, through tools, weapons, bones and buildings. And number 4, through old books. Now let's move on to the fourth question. Make a list of all objects that archaeologists may find. Which of these could be made of stone? So the answer is, the archaeologists may find following things. Number 1, buildings, pieces of stones and bricks. Number 2, paintings. 3, sculptures. 4, weapons. 5, tools. 6, pieces of damaged clothes. Number 7, utensils like pots and pans. Number 8, coins and ornaments. And number 9, bones and teeth. Now, going to the next part of the question, the things which are made up of stone are: number 1, building. Number 2, sculptures. Number 3, weapons. And number 4, tools. Now, question number 5. Why do you think ordinary men and women did not generally keep records of what they did? To answer this question, in the past, it was not easy to keep records, and it was not very easy to write inscriptions by ordinary people because it needed skilled people. Only kings, queens of the past were mostly able to keep their records by putting it in the form of inscriptions. Now to our last question, which is, describe at least 2 ways in which you think the lives of kings would have been different from those of farmers. Answer: 2 ways in which we can think that the lives of kings were different from those of farmers are: number 1, kings were powerful and controlled everyone who were under them and protected them, whereas the farmers had no such power and control over others. Number 2, kings lived in rich part of the state in the palaces while farmers lived in the villages. So this is it for today's video, but before going, I have a question for you guys, and that is, what is the difference between coins which were used in the past and the coins which are used in the present time? This question is already there in your book, so I hope you can solve it out, and your responses are very much awaited. And if you liked the video, please tap the like icon and please subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching the video.